Good morning, Internet. My name is Zim. This is AmmoCan Gaming, and your vlog for the day is uh, Kubo and the Two Strings. This is a movie I went and saw with my friend uh, this past weekend, and it's fucking beautiful. It's uh, a stop motion animated film by Studio Laika. I think that's how you pronounce that. Uh, but they're a company that specializes in stop motion animation. They haven't been around too long. They've only got like three other major releases. Coraline, I've got a bunch of notes up here on my screen. Coraline, Paranorman, and the Box Trolls, and the only other one of those of the Leica filmography that I've seen is the Box Trolls. But that's another one that I saw over the weekend. Uh, my buddy Spangler, when he realized that I hadn't seen any of those, pulled out his copy of the Box Trolls, and we watched that after we got home from the Kubo. Uh, Here's one of my rules for these vlogs for movies that I may do more of in the future. Um, I'm not going to go into spoilers for anything that you couldn't figure out from watching the trailers. And I just spent a good deal of time watching, I think, most of the official trailers. I saw four of them. I don't know if there's more. Movie trailers are kind of weird. I don't watch them. Uh, just because I think it's more fun to go into a movie knowing absolutely nothing about what I'm about to see. I think there's a bit more mystery, there's a bit more discovery for me, and everything that the director and the editor and all those want me to experience for the first time could be ruined by watching a trailer. Because whoever puts those trailers together likes to put the funniest jokes from the comedy in the trailer. And they like to put, the major reveals, the dramatic reveals from the movie in the trailer. So I've just stopped watching trailers to movies that I know I'm going to want to see, and this applies to Star Wars, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and, well, that's really just about it. I mean, those are the movies that I know I'm going to go see, so there's no point in me spoiling myself on the trailer. Of course, that makes it difficult, but, whatever. Um, First off, I mentioned that it's stop motion animated. I love stop motion animation. Ever since Ray Harryhausen, uh, his he was really kind of a pioneer of the style, and we've come a long way since him. Uh, I've actually got a couple of collections of Ray Harryhausen right here, and I like his fantasy stuff more than his sci-fi, but it's still all really good. But Studio Leica has an ability to make the animation just so smooth that you hardly realize that it's stop motion. It is CGI enhanced. There is that, but I don't think it takes away from anything. In fact, I think they use it so sparingly that it's really just kind of a touch up and not a replacement. Uh, I've seen, uh, behind the scenes footage of them working the armatures, and there's actually a little bit of that in the credits at the end. So stick around for that. That's incredible too. Uh, just the size of one of the armatures they had to do for one of their more impressive scenes. I'm not going to spoil that. But just the size of it and them working it and putting the normal the normal size models next to it, and I don't remember the scale of the model, but it was the scale of the normal size stuff is I don't know that, but it was at the end of the movie, comparison that you got to see the guys moving the armature of one of the big models, and it was bigger than a person. I mean, it was huge. So, you know, big props to the guys who actually work this and, you know, work with the actual models themselves. And, you know, we actually got to see some of the faces being 3D printed. They actually put some of that footage in during the credits, too. And I don't know about you guys, but I love seeing that sort of stuff. Just watching a 3D printing going, I could sit there and watch for, you know, okay, if it wasn't sped up, I would get bored after a while, but, uh, you know, as long as it's compressed, I just love seeing that come together. Uh, and, you know, the music. Music is another big thing in this movie. And, you know, I know it being stop motion, you're kind of distracted from that, but the soundtrack is just beautiful. It's scored so wonderfully that, you know, everything fits. Um, Especially since if you've seen any promotional material, actually, I got a pin. I have this little pin. Let me see if I can get that to show up. That's that's Kubo. I don't think that's gonna. Yeah, that's blurry. I gotta pull it out a ways, and now it's too small to really get anything. You know. Anyway, uh, that you know, you can see the neck of the guy's instrument over his neck, and you know, he actually plays that in the movie, uh, and it creates an incidental style, and because they use it throughout the movie, everything so fits. And by the way, it's not a guitar. It's actually a Japanese instrument. The whole movie is Japanese inspired. Uh, it's a Japanese instrument called a shamisen. It's a three-stringed instrument, which makes it kind of odd that it's called Kubo and the two strings. But when you watch the movie, you'll realize why it's called Kubo and the two strings. That's, you know, one of the big things that uh, I'm not going to spoil for you. Uh, but it's a three-stringed instrument that is remarkably similar to a banjo, but it's played with this massive pick that I did a little research on this. It's called a bachi or a baki. I'm not sure exactly how that's pronounced, but the instrument is never explained in the movie because it's not important. Uh, he uses the shamisen to focus his magic, and yes, he does have some magic abilities. Again, you've seen it in the trailer. Uh, he uses it to focus his magic and control paper in the form of origami figures. He actually animates the paper and gets it to fold itself and move it around and do things. And it creates some really visually stunning scenes and sequences, and it actually helps throughout the movie that he does this. Uh, and I just lost my screen. Uh, but yeah, the kid is magic. Kubo, it does have magic that he got from his mother's side. Again, it's in the trailers. Uh, that you know he can do this. So you know the music is just so beautiful, and one of the leitmotifs. I don't remember if it actually goes throughout the movie, but in the trailers and at the end credits, there is a version of "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," which is already a beautiful song, but it was done using, or at least it sounds like it was done using one of these shamisen. It honestly to me sounds like uh, the 12 Girls Band, if you know who they are, did the instrumentals. Uh, almost. 12 Girls Band is Chinese. They use Chinese instruments, but they're so similar, and the shamisen is based off of a Chinese instrument uh, that, you know, it just reminded me so much of that. And if you don't know who the 12 Girls Band are, look them up. They're fantastic too. Uh, I'm just gonna go over a little bit of the story. Uh, Again, not spoiling anything. Uh, Kubo is a young storyteller. He uses his shamisen to animate the origami to tell stories, mostly epics that are they're the kind of things that you would go to see a movie for. Epic battles, heroes and monsters, and epic quests. And it's him as the storyteller using that music kind of creates this interesting little layering effect that it does provide a bit of foreshadowing. I will put that in there. Uh, but he's the storyteller who uses his magic to earn money to take care of his mother who is sick. And I don't know if she's sick per se, but she's not well. Uh, in the first 10 seconds of the movie, you see her, take a blow to the head. So that's not really a spoiler there. She does have some sort of injury that, you know, she kind of can't do much. It's not that she can't do anything, she just can't or doesn't do much. So Kubo uses his abilities to earn money telling those stories to take care of her. And yeah, it goes from there. Um, of course, the inciting incident is his family, and it is a family drama. His family attacks. Uh, I'm really sorry that I keep using these ums and ers, and I'm trying not to do that, but it just comes out. So Kubo's family attacks, and he's forced to leave his mother behind. And this starts him off on his epic quest. He's got to gather the magic MacGuffins, which, seeing the trailers, it's a suit of magic armor. Uh, and he encounters his help along the way in the form of a monkey and a giant anthropomorphic beetle. And these are important characters, and I just love these two guys, especially Beetle. I think Beetle is voiced by Matthew McConaughey. For a second there, I thought he was voiced by George Clooney. He's got that kind of voice, but I think he's one of my favorite characters in this movie. Yeah, I think he is my favorite character. But seriously, this is a beautiful movie. You should go see it. Uh, and it just so last thing I'll say about it is it so incorporates the melding of visuals and music that it really does kind of remind me of it's probably my favorite episode. If it's not my favorite, it's up there. Episode of Samurai Jack. And of course, everything being, inspired by Japanese aesthetic, that helps too. But it's the episode where Jack goes to the tower defended by the three archers that look like Anubis. They're the black dog archers that are guarding this magic well that, in that episode, uh, the well grants whatever wish you ask of it, but it corrupts it. So like the three archers were great warriors of renown who used their skills with bow and arrow to attack and conquer the tower, and they wished to be the greatest archers ever. Well, the will granted this wish, and but corrupted them into being its guardians. And that has nothing to do with anything that goes on in this movie, but the those archers were blind, and one of the things that that episode did so well was it conveyed that they were blind by forcing sound to be one of the most important things that Jack had to take into account when he went to attack the tower himself. And it, he basically blinded himself for a while to do some training. And I don't care if I'm spoiling this for you guys. The show has been canceled for a while now. Although I heard that they were going to resurrect it for another season. It's a rumor, so don't quote me on that. But if that's true, Zim happy. Uh, but yeah, the that episode being another instance of where you had to focus on sound even more so than the visuals. I just love it when animators and storytellers do this, where sound is so important, because a lot of times it's kind of like an afterthought. um, Even scoring a movie is one of those things where the action comes first, and then the composer has to either create or select musical pieces that emphasize that action. But in that episode of Samurai Jack and in Kubo and the Two Strings, the music is actually front and center with the animation, helping to tell that story. And it does it so well that if anything was even slightly off, it would seriously detract from the movie. So it's one of those things that I just love about movies. And I guess I'm going to stop rambling about this now, because I've gone on for 18, 19 minutes or so. But yeah, I'll post this up, and I'll probably get this up as soon as I can. This is not going to replace your Thursday upload. So until next time, Zim out.